The next topic what we are going to discuss is forced vibrations. In case of damped vibrations, we know the amplitude goes on decreasing with time exponentially due to the dissipation of energy because of the resistive medium, and the body slowly comes down to rest. Now, if a suitable periodic external force is applied to that body, the decay of vibrations due to damping can be overcome and the body can execute vibration for longer period of time. Such vibrations are called as forced vibrations. We can define forced vibrations as it is a steady state of sustained vibrations of a body vibrating in a resistive medium under the action of an external periodic force which acts independently of the restoring force. Now, this forced vibration can live or survive as long as the external periodic force is present, and the body will vibrate with the frequency of the applied frequency. Now, once the external periodic force is removed, then the vibrating body will come back to the damped mode and then it vibrates with its own frequency and slowly comes back to rest. Examples for forced oscillations are oscillations of a swing which is pushed periodically by a person, or you can also say vibration of eardrum caused by sound from a sounding body, the motion of a hammer in a calling bell, the periodic vibration of current in an LCR circuit driven by an AC source, and so on. Next, let us discuss the theory of forced vibrations. For this, let me consider a body of mass m executing vibration in damped medium acted upon by an external periodic force. That periodic force which is applied from outside, let it be F sin Pt, where P is the angular frequency of external force. Now, if x is the displacement of the body at any instant of time t, then the damping force or the force due to the resistive medium, resistive force can be written as minus r dx by dt. We know that resistive force is proportional to the velocity. More is the velocity, more is the resistive force, and r is the damping constant. And we also know that when the body is undergoing oscillation, there is restoring force, and this is given by minus k into x, where k is the force constant. So these are acting in a direction opposite to the direction of displacement, but there is an applied force, that is F sin Pt, which is driving the body to oscillate. So the resultant force because of these three forces will be equal to minus r dx by dt minus kx plus F sin Pt. Now, from Newton's second law, the resultant force can also be written as m into d square x by dt square. We can equate these two equations and write m d square x by dt square is equal to minus r dx by dt minus kx plus f sin pt. Or on rearranging this, we can write this as m d square x by dt square plus r dx by dt plus kx is equal to f sin pt. This is the equation of motion for forced vibration. Now let me divide this whole equation by m. So we get d square x by dt square plus r by m dx by dt plus k by m into x is equal to f by m sin pt. We know that r by m is equal to 2b and k by m is equal to omega square. So therefore, this equation can be written as d square x by dt square plus r by m is 2b dx by dt plus k by m is omega square into x is equal to f by m sine pt. This is because r by m is equal to 2b and k by m is equal to omega square. Let this be equation number 1. So this is a second order differential equation. The solution for this equation will be x is equal to a sine pt minus alpha, where a and alpha are the unknowns that has to be found. Let this be equation number 2. Now if you see this equation itself represents a simple harmonic motion where a and alpha must be represented respectively by the amplitude, and this gives the phase of vibrating body. So let us solve for a and alpha. So for this, let us differentiate this equation with respect to t. We get dx by dt is equal to a differentiation of sine of some angle will be cos of that angle pt minus alpha, and the differentiation of this, that will be p, which is a constant, so I'll write this here. And then differentiating this again, we get d square x by dt square is equal to ap cos of some theta will be minus of sine theta, so I will write it as minus of sine theta, that is pt minus alpha, and then the differentiation of this, so it will be again p, so I will write this as ap square sine pt minus alpha. So now I know what is d square x by dt square, what is dx by dt, and what is x. So let us substitute all this in equation number 1. So the equation number 1 becomes minus ap square sine pt minus alpha plus 2b dx by dt is ap cos pt minus alpha, then plus omega square x is a sine pt minus alpha is equal to f by m sine pt. Now I will make some small modifications in the right side of the equation. So I can write the right side of this equation as f by m sine pt minus alpha plus alpha. So the equation has not changed. Now let me expand this as sine a plus b. So sine a plus b will be sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. So I can write this as f by m sine a is pt minus alpha, cos b is cos alpha, plus f by m cos a, that is pt minus alpha, and sine b, that is sine alpha. So this equation becomes minus ap square sine pt minus alpha plus 2b ap cos pt minus alpha plus omega square a sine pt minus alpha is equal to f by m sine pt minus alpha cos alpha plus f by m cos pt minus alpha sine alpha. Now let us equate the coefficients of sine pt minus alpha from both the sides. Equating coefficients of pt minus alpha on both sides, we get, so this is sine pt minus alpha. So sine pt minus alpha coefficient is minus ap square, and here sine pt minus alpha coefficient is omega square a is equal to sine pt minus alpha coefficient is f by m cos alpha. So let this be equation number 3. In the same way, let us equate coefficients of cos pt minus alpha. So the coefficients are 2b ap and then f by m 2b ap is equal to f by m sin alpha. Let this be equation number 4. Now squaring and adding these two equations, what we get is squaring this. If a is taken as common here, a and omega square minus p square, so I square this plus square this 2bap squaring and adding, so these two equations, and the right hand side it becomes f by m whole square cos square alpha plus sin square alpha. So we know cos square alpha plus sin square alpha is equal to 1. So the right hand side becomes equal to f by m whole square. So I can write this equation as a omega square minus p square whole square plus 2bap whole square is equal to f by m whole square. Or we can write this equation as a square and a square are common here, so I'll write a square into omega square minus p square whole square plus 2 square is 4, b square and p square is equal to f by m whole square, or a square is equal to f by m whole square divided by omega square minus p square whole square plus 4b square p square, or I can write a is equal to f by m by square root of omega square minus p square whole square plus 4b square p square. So this is the equation which represents the amplitude of the forced vibration. So we solved for a now. On substituting this equation in the general solution for x, x becomes equal to a is f by m by square root of omega square minus p square whole square plus 4b square p square, that is a sin pt minus alpha. So this will be the final solution of the forced vibration. Now let us find out what is the phase of forced vibration. The phase of the forced vibration is given by alpha. For this, again let us consider the two equation number 3 and 4, that is this equation and this equation. So dividing equation 4 by 3, we get 2bap divided by a into omega square minus p square is equal to, divide this by this, we get sin alpha by cos alpha is tan alpha, that will be equal to tan alpha is equal to a gets cancelled, so 2bp by omega square minus p square, or alpha is equal to tan inverse of 2bp by omega square minus p square. So this gives the equation for phase of forced vibrations. Now what will be the frequency of forced vibration? The frequency of forced vibrations will be the same as that of the applied frequency, which we can see from this equation. Here you can see this is the final solution for forced vibration. So in that you can see that the frequency of vibration is p, and p is the applied frequency also. So that means that after the application of external periodic force, the body adopts the frequency of the external force as its own frequency in the steady state, no matter with what frequency it was vibrating earlier. Now if I remove the applied frequency, it will slowly come back to damped mode and then it will vibrate with its own frequency.